Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast, where we like to look at sports from a positive angle. I am your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, finally, it's been a while, but he's back. My right-hand man, my ace, my brother Alex. How are you today, buddy?
Man, it sure has been a while. It felt like months, to be honest with you.
I mean, it feels like forever since we've been in the same room talking to these wonderful fans about this wonderful show and some sports and some other stuff and some shout outs and all that jazz, hasn't it?
Man, yeah, it has. It has. I can't believe it feels that long.
Yeah, it's amazing. We did. I did an NBA preview special. We'll get into the NBA playoffs in a while.
Yeah.
We did the one remote from when I was in Boston, and you were back here in Houston. So it feels like it. Yeah, we've done two, not side by side, and it makes it feel like it's been forever and a day.
I feel like that's progress, though. I mean, we're kind of, taking it
branching out.
Yeah, man. Hey, let us know what you think about those two episodes, about his playoff preview, about our remote episode. Let us know how that went, how it looked from the fans' perspective.
That's right. If you want to get a hold of the show and share your thoughts with us, you can email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to reach out to my brother Alex, how do they get a hold of you?
Brooklyn Gaucho on Twitter.
That's right. And if you want to get a hold of me on Twitter at eMontana21. So now that we've got all those niceties out of the way,
I must say,
what do you want to talk about first?
I mean,
hold on. Let me get comfortable here.
You got some bling on today.
What do you want to talk about first, bro?
Why are you moving so much?
I mean,
are you okay?
What do you want to talk about first? Just tell me where you want to go.
Can you sit still?
Can you just tell me where you want to go with the show?
Okay.
What do you want to talk about first? I mean, anything in particular?
My nephew made that coffee way too strong. But I must say, you have a pretty neat medallion on, right?
That's right.
Yeah?
That's how I roll, man. Nothing but medallions.
The Boston Marathon.
Yes, sir.
Completed. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know how hard it was because I wasn't there, but from reading the news and knowing how the weather was and just how difficult a marathon can be to run.
Yeah.
How was it, man? Tell us about your experience. Tell us about that crazy weather that I'm sure played a part. Or
oh yeah. Let me tell you, it was unique. I have never run a marathon in such adverse conditions beyond my own personal experience. So what you guys don't know, and what I did not share with the audience, and really I kind of didn't share it with anyone, even my brother Alex didn't know many of these details. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I tweaked my knee about 6 weeks before the race, which for those of you that run marathons, you'll know this, but most people don't. 6 weeks out, at 6 weeks out, you have 3 weeks of hard training left. And then 3 weeks where you start to taper off. Well, I had to start tapering almost immediately. My knee got progressively worse. I was running very little. My conditioning was not where it needed to be. It's amazing how much conditioning you can lose in such a short period of time. And I couldn't get the weight off. So I was heavier than I wanted to be going in. And, it kept deteriorating. I got to the point where I had some serious concerns about actually running the marathon. I had conversations with my doctor about possibly not running the marathon, but it was Boston, and I think they would have had to amputate my leg for me to not run it. And I shouldn't say that. That's not funny because there are a lot of people at the Boston Marathon that run as amputees. People that were affected by the bombings in 2013. So honestly, they'd have had to take my heart. They'd had to take my heart out of my body and say, you can't run, because that's about the only way I wasn't going to do it. But I knew I had to be very careful. I actually went to the doctor the Friday before the marathon and had my knee drained, which is quite a disgusting procedure, let me just tell you. Um, and I took a lot of pain medication for the day of the race. And I got to the start line. The weather was brutal. I've always said this. Cold is okay. Rain is okay. Wind is okay. But when you get all three, it's miserable. And what makes it worse is, you start running, and at some point when you start to slow down, that cold really creeps in and your body just wants to lock up and call it quits. I've always said that the hardest thing about the marathon is getting to the starting line, because you put in so much training, so much wear and tear on your body, and then those last few weeks when you start to taper, from a mental perspective, it becomes quite difficult. And getting to the line is to me, that's a win right there. And I got to the line, and I remember thinking to myself, I'd been extremely nervous. Not extremely nervous. I'd been very apprehensive about my particular situation. I got to the start line, and I was like, okay, I made it. I'm gonna run this thing. I'm gonna make it. And when I was at the start line, it was drizzling lightly, and there was no wind at that point. And we started, and I swear I didn't get a half a mile into the race when this big blast of wind came off of this little stream that runs alongside this road. And I thought, oh my God, this is gonna be rough.
How much clothes did you have on? Because I don't know if I could run in how some of these runners are dressed in just shorts and a tank top and their bib.
So yeah, I actually had shorts on. I had a sleeve over my knee.
Thank God you had shorts on.
Yes, I had shorts on, but not pants. I mean, some people were in tights and whatnot. And I had a long sleeve shirt, and then I had my singlet over it. In case I got warm, I could get rid of the long sleeve, put the singlet back on, and still have my bib on the outside showing. So that was my game plan. I had gloves and a hat on as well, because you got to be careful with your extremities. It was brutal. By far the hardest conditions I've ever run in. And, I've run 50 some odd marathons. I've run my fair share of half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks, whatnot. I've probably run over 120 races overall. And it was brutal. I mean, I can't even really remember a training session, a long training session, right? 18, 20 miles. That was that bad. Because usually if it's that bad, you push the training schedule, you push that long run to the next day or something. But yeah, it was brutal. My knee held up well. I started to fatigue a lot after the first half of the race. I ran into some situations during the race. I was going through a water station, and not one, two guys grabbed their cups and stopped on a dime. And this is at mile 4 when there's still not a lot of congestion. Yeah. So I had nowhere to go. I tried to avoid the first guy and then came up on the second guy and slammed that foot down and felt my knee jostle. I was like, "Urgh," Then later on, a woman was passing me, and I guess she was going a lot faster than I was. I didn't notice this, but she literally just put her hand right here and went, "Excuse me." And she went by, gave me a good shove, and I hit the guy next to me and kind of got jostled a little. And then the worst one was about mile 8. I had a guy who came by me and wanted to cut in front of me to go because there was some open space in front of me. And he cut over too soon and clipped my opposite calf and, again, caused me to wobble. And after that one, I was like, maybe getting to the line is not going to be enough. Maybe that's not going to guarantee me a finish, It was tough.
That would have made me run faster and just, speed up to that person and cut them off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Kind of like driving.
I didn't have those kind of wheels. I didn't have those kind of wheels that day. It was tough, but...
Yikes. Well, I'm glad you finished. I'd say, considering, the issues that you've had with your knee so close to the race.
Yeah.
Really, you have no time to, I guess, fully finish the training the way you should and the way your body's used to it.
Right. Right.
I mean, I'm glad
Yeah.
you finished.
I missed out on some good training, which I think affected my fitness. But really, the biggest effect was to not be able to keep running, so that when I kicked into my diet hard the last 3 weeks, I didn't drop any weight. So I was my normal walking around weight as opposed to 15 pounds lighter, which is what I usually am.
I noticed you finished fast. You did a pretty good pace the last. I'm no math major, so I don't know kilometers to miles, but
From
like,
40K to the end.
yeah,
That's the last.
Is that downhill? Is that
That's the last 1.2 miles. You do hit a pretty good downhill,
Gotcha.
and the adrenaline
Kicks
takes over.
Yeah.
Hey, when I say the juice is worth the squeeze, that's the juice right there. That is the juice. There is no greater high. Let me tell you something. Wearing the medal and stuff, and I'm like a little kid. I wear my medal for like a week after the race. So this is not on just for the show. I've been walking around with it on for a week. The medal is great. People telling you did a great job. All that stuff is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. That instant when you make the turn on Boylston and you have 600 yards to go, it takes about 2.5 minutes to run that. When you make that turn, you get a burst of emotion and adrenaline, and it just builds to this massive crescendo in your heart, in your mind, until you cross the finish line. It is one of the best feelings in the world. It is irreplaceable.
I'm sure any obstacles that you came across were forgotten about at that point, right? I mean, you just now you just see the crowd and everyone's cheering at the finish line. It
was nuts. And I do want to say one thing. I want to say, and this is going to sound kind of silly, I want to say thank you to all the fans of this podcast, because there were times when I thought about quitting, and I thought there is no way I am going back to my Positive Sports podcast and to our fans and to my family and to my friends and have to share the story that I quit. I
agree.
I'm I'd be sitting here like this for this episode, I'd be sitting facing the wall like I was in timeout. But it motivated me. It really did. I thought about you. I thought about the fans. I thought about my friends and my family, and there was just no fucking way I was gonna stop. I was determined to continue when my leg felt terrible around mile. I really struggled like at mile 21, 22, 23. Because what happens at Boston is you run mostly downhill until mile 16. And by that point, your legs are good and tired. And then you have uphill, Heartbreak Hill, for 5 miles up to mile 21. And it's like you go up and it's flat, and you go up and it's flat. And it's so that wears your legs out even more. But then the real punishment is when you get on the other side of mile 21 and you go down into Boston, it's downhill. You don't have any strength to really deal with what gravity's doing to you. And that's when the pain is brutal. And there were times where I was like, shit, my knee is going to explode. It felt so bad. And I told myself, I command you to finish this damn race. There's no way you're stopping.
Yeah, shit. I mean, I would imagine pace at that point, you probably can't control it, right? Because especially going downhill,
it is very hard,
and your legs are on the verge of giving out.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah,
your form starts to break down, and at that point, your core is not doing the work like it should because it's tired. You're leaning forward a little bit. You're pounding harder. It is very hard. It is very difficult. Not my best time, but I am extremely proud of my effort that day. My mental push that day was probably the strongest it's ever been, because the adversity that day was something else. I'm so elated to have made it. I'm so happy and grateful to have all of the wonderful people in my life, all of my family and friends that push me, that motivate me. It just means the world to me. And now I get to walk around with a nice little medal for a week.
We'll probably see it for a few episodes.
Probably not. We got other stuff to talk about.
So I gotta ask.
Yeah.
What is your post-run meal? Right? Because you have My damn phone. Don't ring. Shut up.
Jesus, you're so unprofessional.
Well, it didn't ring. It vibrated.
Yeah, but it's on the...
So look, you deprived yourself of beer, pizza, cheeseburgers, wings. What is your go-to food?
I'm trying to remember what we ate after that. We had coffee.
Coffee?
We went to a little coffee shop. Well, it was raining. It started to really come down afterwards.
Well, I guess you do have to warm up, right?
Yeah. And so I was like, man, let's just go somewhere quick. And we found this little coffee shop. And I had a cup of coffee. And my stomach was messed up. And I almost passed out. Because the strong coffee with my upset stomach from running, I was in trouble. But the thing that I really go after the marathon in general is sweets.
Yeah.
Because I deprive myself of sweets. That's the way I cut weight. So it's like cheesecake and ice cream, all that stuff. And, you know, obviously I have a beer here and there and all that again, pizza and wings and all that. But for me, it's the sweets, man.
Yeah.
I don't have a sweet tooth. All of them are sweet. All 32 of them are sweet. I just love this stuff, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was a real good time.
A sandwich would definitely be I'll probably eat a sandwich during the race. I'll make sure someone's right there at a certain mile marker. Like, hey man, have my hero right there.
Hey, you could change your thing from sandwich eating gym rat to sandwich eating runner. Like I'm a coffee drinking runner.
I can, but yeah.
But you won't.
I won't.
Someday, my friend, you never know.
One day, just not today.
That's right. Tomorrow's not looking good either. What else you got, man?
Well, we had a pretty crazy weekend, didn't we?
We had a good time.
We had an awesome time. We got to see a little MMA kickboxing live.
That was so much fun.
That was exciting, man.
Well, tell the fans give the fans the details about that one.
So, Tanya Evinger, she's a UFC fighter.
Yes.
She put together this great event out here in Humble, Texas. Yes, I say Humble. It has an H in front of it. Okay, I pronounce the H. She set up a great event. If you don't follow her on Twitter,
it's at Tanya Evinger.
At Tanya Evinger. Make sure you give her a follow. She put a great event. Amateur MMA kickboxing. Although I think there was only like one kickboxing on the card.
I think so.
Right?
I think it was just one. That's a pretty good fight.
But yeah, it was. I mean, they all were. It was a pretty decent card. It was about seven. It was about 7 fights.
Yeah.
And my brother was there a little earlier. He was helping set up and all that good stuff. And I got there a little before the fight started. And I mean, from fight 1 to the very last fight, it was pretty entertaining stuff, man.
Action-packed, man.
Kind of made me want to get in the ring and,
Yeah, I saw you kind of...
After everybody left, though.
I saw you at one point when the second fighter was a little slow to come out. You were kind of like... raise your hand.
Well, I was ready to go. I made sure I went to the gym before going there in case they needed someone, a little replacement.
Did it have anything to do with the fact that fight was, I think, like 135-pound guys?
Oh man, I could cut weight
How much are you? How much are you weighing these days?
I am weighing 192.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, he's trained in the mixed martial arts. You're not.
Well, I mean, I ran from Katy to Humble to make sure I think I would.
Cut weight?
Yeah, I made sure. No? Nah, probably not.
There were some good fights. There was my favorite fight. I don't know about you. And geez, I forget the names. I don't want to look it up, but there was one fight. Young looking cat.
Bailey was one of them.
Was it Bailey?
Stephanie Alba's.
No, not that one. Not that one. It was the. Hold on.
Oh,
look there was this one young cat.
14 years old? I mean, how old was he?
I mean, he looked... It was the second fight, right? Jacob James. I mean...
Shredded. The kid was shredded, and he couldn't have been more than 15 years old.
Oh, my God. No? He looked so young. I don't know how old he was. I'm guessing he was older than that. I can't imagine they would let him fight at 15 or whatever. But really young-looking guy. Got clipped and did one of those where... almost like a dance move where... he like squatted all the way down to the ground and popped right back up. And in that same round, got him to the ground
Yeah.
and got his back and choked that guy out.
That was impressive.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, the fights were awesome. It was great. It was great. You know, I didn't know what to expect from a local event. You know, I figured there'd be like blowouts and there'd be these fat guys swinging each other. You know, I figured it'd be like a kind of bar fight where
A bunch of butter beans.
yeah, a bunch of butterbean. You know, where they throw punches for 30 seconds, and if they don't knock someone out, then they're like hanging on each other and stuff. But all of these guys were very skilled. I mean,
no.
You know,
From the looks of it, I mean, most of these guys look like they could very well one day
oh yeah.
be on the main card.
Remember that
right?
one guy that we saw fighting at 145, and he was 6'2".
Yeah.
If that guy can keep that up just on that frame alone, and he was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tough. I mean, tough guys. There was one guy, man, he got his ass kicked,
The young guy with the
braids.
With the braids.
and he fought all 3 rounds like it was. I mean,
he was not to sound mean, but he was pretty much a punching bag from the word start. I mean, he was getting lit up, but holy smokes, he lasted all 3 rounds.
That was awesome. That was awesome. We got you mentioned Stephanie Alba, who's a 105 fighter in Invicta. We got to meet her. Very cool chick.
Yeah.
She's 105. She's super nice. I'm afraid of her.
Yeah, I am too. I don't care how much I go to the gym. Anyone that's in UFC, I'm afraid of.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, she's really good. She's really good. Who else do we meet?
Well, probably the closest thing to Andre the Giant, Kraken.
The Kraken.
Holy cow! I was scared.
I wasn't. Super nice guy.
No, yeah, he's super nice. He's super nice.
He's really cool.
He is. I'm just talking about he is.
He is a massive human being.
Like, I don't know how he would fit through our door right now. Like, I have.
We're
no
gonna get
idea.
him on the show one day. I don't know how the fuck we're gonna fit him in here.
Yeah,
but
the laptop is gonna have to be like out the door.
you know, that may be one where you and I have to tag team and come in and sit down with him because all 3 of us are not going to fit in.
Yeah. He's
And obviously, you got to have him front and center. Super nice guy. You give him a follow too. The Chosen Juan 285.
Yeah.
Juan is Juan.
Yeah, he's super nice.
Yeah.
I think he's got a bright future ahead of him, man.
He's going to be on the Contender Series. If you guys don't know what that is, the UFC does this little Contender Series every so often. Where they have 3, 4, or 5 fights, and Dana White just hands out contracts. Not to everybody, but whoever has the best performances. He is 3-0, hasn't gone 5 minutes yet in a fight.
Whoa.
He's beating the brakes off of people. He fights for LFA right now, Legacy Fighting Alliance or whatever it's called. Super nice guy, really cool. It was a good time. It was a great time all the way around. I thought it was done. For a small show, I thought it was done well. They had lights and they had music and they had the smoke machine when the fighters came out, and it was all quite professional for such a small local event. And my understanding is that was I don't know if my brother mentioned it. Indominus Fights. You go to their website, indominusfights.com. It was their first show. And I think Tanya's done other shows before, but this is the first in this Indominus Fights brand. For a first show, I thought it was great. I can't wait for a second one.
I know. I might shoot her a message like, "Hey, when's the next one?"
Yeah, let's do this again.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool, man. Especially when you see it live. It's just, man. I'm kind of like running, man. When you're in there, when you're in the dance, it's like you kind of get an adrenaline, and I mean, it's nothing wrong with a little ass kicking, Yeah, no, it's a good time.
It was a lot of fun, and then the fun didn't stop for some of us.
No, there was a. I'm sorry. You mentioned dancing earlier, and I don't know what you were referring to, but as we continued the fun over to a restaurant to watch another UFC card that was on.
Outside the UFC card.
God, refresh my memory. Who were the last two? The last fight. What was the last fight?
Kevin Lee and Edson Barboza.
Okay. Kevin Lee belongs on Dancing with the Stars. I mean, if you didn't watch it, go watch it. It was the last fight. Barboza kicks him with a spinning hook kick. I mean, and he got him just enough.
Right above the ear.
Okay, to do the stanky leg times 4. I mean, he looked like a stick figure just dancing.
I've never seen any. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I've seen guys get rocked and completely lose their balance, but he must have taken like 6 or 7 of these dance steps. I mean, but for the fact that it's the UFC and it's a fight, it looked choreographed. It was amazing.
His legs buckled so bad.
But he recovered, and he beat the brakes off Barboza.
Yeah, that's another guy on that night. He took a beating. I mean, you couldn't see his eyes at the end of the fight, and he hung in there for 5 rounds.
I think it was at the end of the 4th when it was over, or maybe it was during the 5th.
Oh yeah, it got cold. Right.
He stopped him, but I don't remember if it was the 4th or the 5th.
I mean, man, he could have. I thought he was gonna stop it earlier.
Oh man. I'll tell you what, if it was me after the 2nd round, I'd have been like, all right, forget it, man.
Yeah.
I don't have anything for this guy.
Yeah, you win.
Yeah. Those guys are insanely tough. And from being at the fights, this is the one thing that I noticed that really caught my attention. When they're when they're making that walk to the ring or the cage, and I almost think it's worse for the second guy. When you're walking towards, you're a badass, but you're walking towards someone who is a badass as well. I feel like it takes a certain amount of heart that I think the average person doesn't understand. But watching it live and seeing those guys make that walk, I was like, holy crap. To know that you're about to get into a fist fight with somebody. And it's not one of these fist fights from when you were in school that lasted, 30 seconds. Y'all swung 5 times, hit each other once and said, yeah, forget it. Okay, you win or whatever. It's a 10-minute fight or a 12-minute fight or 15-minute fight. It's a fight.
Yeah.
It takes guts, man.
Yeah, I don't think it matters if you're first or second down the aisle. It's gotta be nerve-wracking, man. I mean, shit. I don't care if you're a professional or not.
Yeah, no, I agree. I can't.
I mean, look, I've been on plenty job interviews. I still get nervous.
Yeah, no. Yeah, can you imagine?
I mean?
Like a job interview is nerve-wracking. Can you imagine going in it? Not only, and you're not just fighting some guy at the local 7-Eleven, right?
No.
You're fighting a guy that's been training to kick your ass.
Yep.
That's brutal.
Yes.
Those guys, look, every now and then, I listen to some podcasts, some MMA podcasts and whatnot, and you hear people talk about some of the stupid shit that fans say. Man, fans should not talk shit about fighters at all, man. It's not like, people talk shit about LeBron James or whatever. Okay. I mean, he's fucking bouncing the ball and throwing it through a hoop. Don't talk crap about these guys, man. They are literally putting it on the line. It takes, until you've made that walk yourself, I don't think you have any right to talk about them and their guts. You always hear people say, oh, he's scared of so-and-so. Nah, man. I mean, he's done this however many times, right? He ain't scared.
Well, I would just never talk shit to begin with because I don't know if I'll ever run into them and they may happen to listen to this great podcast.
And mess up that pretty face.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe not pretty.
No, definitely not pretty.
No, definitely not pretty. The face only a mother can love except ours.
Yeah, I haven't been punched in the face. She loves me more than you.
I doubt.
She does. She told me the other day, son, I love you more than your older brother.
Did she invite you to lunch yesterday?
Duh. I told her I wasn't going to be in town. That's why she didn't invite me.
Yeah, you didn't get invited. That's all I got to say.
Dude.
She made me my favorite.
She invites me consistently. More so than you, believe it or not.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
And she comes to visit me more than you.
Yeah, shit, fuck. She doesn't come here. I mean, I got to just about...
And your house is on the way.
I know. Why is that? She doesn't come to visit me. But she does feed me more than
'Cause
she
you
feeds
oogly.
you. I think she likes me more than you. I'm still gonna go with that.
Whatever. We're
Well,
gonna call her. We should have her on one day. Just break the silence, damn it, Mom. What is it? Who's better looking? Who do you love more?
No, man,
You think she'll be up for it?
that'll ruin the show for you.
That would be awesome if we had Mom on this podcast.
Oh my god, in broken English.
That would be great.
Fucking hilarious.
That would be great. We could be her translators.
Subtitles.
There you go.
Do you hate listeners? Watch this. We get sued because someone was watching on YouTube while they're driving.
Yeah.
They get into a wreck. These idiots put subtitles in their podcast.
That's why you don't look at that's why you listen to the one on Podbean.
That's right.
Damn it. Or Google Play.
That's right. Or iTunes.
Or iTunes.
But if you're sitting around at home,
Yeah, nothing to do.
fire up YouTube. Watch these two handsome young lads talk to you about nothing.
What else we got, man?
Uh,
So you did an NBA playoffs preview.
I sure
I
did.
didn't have to because I already knew what was going to happen. I mean, you know, I called the Pelicans sweeping the Blazers even though I was super high on the Blazers, but I knew come playoff time.
It's a matchup thing.
It's a matchup thing, man. And I mean,
I knew. And
just how I called it.
In fact, I think I said it on the podcast that these are my picks. I'm sure once my brother gets back, he's going to tell you his picks were exactly the way it turned out.
To the T. I'll tell you what,
Gone to Vegas.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I wonder what a Pelican sweep was paying out in Vegas.
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't even look because I would have never expected that.
That was sick.
I mean, I didn't expect a sweep from either side on that series, much less the Pelicans.
Those two guards on the Trailblazers, it was they just disappeared.
They did not show up.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis has proven to be a top 5 player in this league. I mean, really, he's
Well, let's see.
dominating.
Do you put him top 5? Like, so you got LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant,
Please don't say it.
James Harden,
You said it. God damn it. Harden is not top 5, but go
Russell
ahead.
Westbrook.
Okay,
So maybe Anthony Davis is 6.
he's top 5, bro. Top 5, bro.
Who are you gonna take out of those 5?
I mean, you take the youngest, the younger. You take the dominating center, block.
No. Which one of those 5 guys that I mentioned would you take out to put Anthony Davis in as the top 5?
Harden.
Harden's gonna win the MVP.
Harden.
Harden is gonna win the MVP.
That don't mean shit.
They're gonna smack you around at work.
So
you work in Houston. They're gonna smack you around at work.
Let me ask you something. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double last year, okay?
Yes.
He was the 7th seed
Last year?
last year
Okay.
and got bounced in whatever round.
The first round.
Because no one cares.
In the first round.
This year, the team had one more win, averaged another triple-double, and was the number 6 seed. So,
Improvement.
exactly. While adjusting to play with Melo and PG.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Your point.
I'll give him a vote over Harden any day.
What Harden did.
Any day.
What Harden did though was he took them to a franchise record in wins. The number 1 seed over the vaunted Golden State Warriors.
I'm sure.
And Harden is winning games on the daily.
I'm sure when they signed Harden, they said, Harden, I want you to lead us to have the franchise record for team wins. That's exactly what they said.
What do you want them to do? They gotta play the regular season before they play the playoffs. They're looking pretty darn good. What are they up 3-1?
2-1. I did not
They're
make.
about to go up 3-1.
I did not make any predictions, but I'll say it again. That's because you did a show without me. But
You were scared.
I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't trust D'Antoni. I don't trust Harden.
That may be, but Harden to me is top 5 player in the league. Yeah. So I think Anthony Davis is 6, number 6.
Okay. Well,
But
close enough.
Soon to be top 5. I mean, he is a beast. That guy.
So what do you think about the Sixers? Because they're looking, as much as I hate to say this, they're looking scary. I mean, I really thought Miami would give him a run for their money, and they kind of did, but the Sixers came back twice to win games, and Ben Simmons is probably the smoothest point guard, forward, center, because he's doing it all.
That guy looks like the real deal.
I mean, he is scary. He's scary good, man.
Yeah, he is. I'll tell you what, the East is looking to be a lot of fun.
Finally.
Because the Toronto-Washington series looks like it may end up going 7. Boston and Milwaukee, Boston's the better team, but without true superstars to take you through the fourth quarter, they're in a dogfight with Milwaukee. And then Cleveland and the Pacers, that looks like it's going to be a good series.
Yeah.
And really the only one that looks like it's pretty much over is the Sixers Heat.
Yeah.
But the next round, you're going to do that preview show because I have no idea. I mean, I'm baffled as to what will happen in the second round. Whatever combination of teams we get, I'd be afraid to pick anything. Out west, it's looking a little bit more settled, right? Like the Rockets and the Warriors are looking like they're on a collision course. The Pelicans have got a nice series win. Oklahoma City, Utah. I don't see. Neither one of them does much for me.
That one's probably the only one going 7 in the first round of the West.
Of the West.
Yeah, of the West.
Probably. Yeah. Because the Rockets are going to be up 3-1 here in a little bit, and
are they? What's the score on that one?
They were up quite a few at the half before we came in here.
Yeah.
And the Warriors are going to handle the Spurs. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I think the Warriors have been playing possum all along. I got a feeling, but it should be.
They're gonna need Curry though.
Oh my God, 100-69.
The Rockets.
Yes.
That James Harden's terrible. He's
playing an 8
terrible.
And they're playing an 8 seed.
Top 5 player in the league, and you're gonna see it. You're going to see it the rest of the way.
He better fucking win a championship now that you're so high on him. He better just lead them to a championship.
Russell Westbrook's top 5 in the league and won a championship.
I didn't say he was top 5.
What's your top 5 then?
I don't have a top 5.
Yeah, you do because you put Anthony Davis in there.
Well, yeah, he's the only one. I'll fill it out as the playoffs go along.
When it's over, I'll tell you who my top 5 are.
When I'm 90 years old,
I'll tell you what, though. That Cleveland, Indiana series. Is there anything more entertaining than Lance Stevenson and LeBron James?
There is not. There is not, man. I've said it before. Lance Stevenson, Garden, LeBron James is... He might as well be the next Dennis Rodman, man. He needs to, just dye his hair and just... I mean, it's freaking awesome. Yeah, he sucks as a ball player.
He needs to go all-out freak.
Yeah.
He needs to go all-out freak.
Get some tattoos, some nose piercings. I mean, might as well.
Walk in a wedding dress.
I think that's the only time he likes playing basketball because, I mean, he doesn't hustle up and down the court. Like, he straps on his belt when he's got to guard LeBron.
Yeah, he's all into it, and
which
frustrates the hell out of LeBron.
It does, but LeBron is just so damn good that even he does get frustrated, but he just can't be stopped.
I wonder how much you had to bet. How much the bet was whether LeBron James gets ejected in a game in this series. Because he's gotten technicals and
he's got a technical now. If he gets one the next game, then he's suspended for game 6.
Oh, it's 2? I thought it was 3.
I thought it was 2.
I thought you had to get 3 technicals to get suspended for a game.
Does that change? I thought it was 2. Fans, help us out. Do we know what we're talking about? Do I know what I'm talking about?
You never know what you're talking about. During the season, it's like 15. Right? When you get that 15 technical, you're suspended for the next game. But I think in the playoffs, I think it's 3.
It's 3?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he needs 2 more.
Do you know the difference between a birdie and a bogey?
Not yet. But I love smoking bogeys, though. That was great.
Stogies. Golf terminology and cigars. Doesn't know either one. That's priceless. What else you got on the playoffs?
Shoot, nothing else, man. I mean, it's
so. Give me your quit messing around. Give me your predictions because Toronto and Washington are tied at 2, right?
Yes, they're tied at 2. By the way, you picked Washington. That was pretty ballsy, I must say.
Yeah, I got my picks right here. I wrote mine down. I'm not afraid. I picked Washington, Boston, Philadelphia, and Cleveland.
So I'll give you my honest predictions.
Finally?
I'll give you my honest predictions.
Go ahead.
Okay. Give me this. Toronto, Washington. I thought Washington didn't have a chance. More than 5 games. I didn't give it. I think Toronto's been the most consistent team in the East. So I thought they would come out of...
It's not saying much in the East, though.
No, but still, I mean, they... Whatever. I
get your point, but I mean, let's face it. There hasn't been a dominant team, a consistent team in the East. They've all kind of...
No, yeah, this year, no. I thought Toronto more than 5 games over Washington. Boston, Milwaukee. I don't know how long that series was going to go, but I would give it to Boston. I don't think Milwaukee had enough or has enough to compete. But obviously, 2-2, something's brewing. Cleveland, Pacers... Definitely Cleveland. Although the Pacers have been playing well all season. Victor Oladipo. But, too much LeBron, I think. And I just feel that he turns it up a notch and the rest of the team will follow suit. Miami, Philadelphia was the series that I thought the lower seed was going to win. I figure the Heat are a grimy little bunch. I think they're coached very well. I definitely thought Miami would win in 6, so that doesn't look like it's going to happen.
No.
So I thought that was probably going to be the best series out of all the playoffs, which it kind of has been.
Kind of is because it's been testy.
It has been, but I mean, like I said, Philly just came back and then blew them out by 28 points in one game. With like 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So Houston, Minnesota... Houston, I mean, they've been the best team in all of the NBA.
That's right, led by
Chris Paul. Led by D'Antoni, the coach. Come on, he's the leader, right?
You're such an asshole.
Led by those great fans that we got in Houston, always showing up to 41 games and cheering them on.
I hope some of those great fans hear this podcast and beat the brakes off you at work tomorrow.
They will. They're going to listen. Warriors, San Antonio. Warriors, I've said a little earlier, I think they've been taking off some games. Yes, they've had injuries, but I think they just have too much talent on that team that any one of those 3, including Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson. Not Draymond Green. You got, once Steph Curry comes back, him, Durant, Thompson can take over anytime. Thompson, we all know he can get hot. Scored 27 points in one quarter, so I'm not too worried about them. Portland, New Orleans. I definitely did not see this coming. I was high all year on Portland. Yeah. I thought it was Dame Lillard's time to really show up, and god damn it, he let me down.
Yeah, he had a rough series.
They both did. CJ McCollum did too. Portland didn't show up. I thought that was the team that would give the Warriors a problem in the next series, but they won't even be there. Nope. So I was completely wrong on that one. And OKC and Utah, I have no idea still. I don't even know who. I mean, I don't know. OKC, I would have picked the Thunder. They haven't really found a way to gel. But I did think that Paul George would be the one to kind of carry them, and
he's had a good game.
He had one good game. It was the first good game, the first game of the series. He dropped 30 something, and then their big three disappeared. So that would have been my predictions.
Utah's working on their own big 3 with Rubio, Mitchell, and Gobert. Yeah, I mean... That's how you have to say it. You can't just say Gobert. It's Gobert. Just like a Gobert.
Dude, please, stop.
But only after a breath mint.
Yeah. Here's a Listerine.
Whew. Well...
What else we got?
This has been a pretty good episode.
It has been.
What do you say we wrap this bad boy up?
Let's wrap it up like a Trojan. Sorry.
Shout outs before you get yourself in more trouble.
My shout out goes to. I have no idea who my shout out is. I'm unprepared. I'm unprepared today, man.
You're such an amateur.
I'm
buzzing.
unprepared, man.
All right.
I'm unprepared.
Go away. My shout out goes to man, a bunch of people. I really am a week later still living the high of the marathon, in spite of the fact that I'm going to get an MRI on this knee tomorrow. But I am still living the high, and the support from my family, from my friends, means the world to me. I've always said it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child, and in a lot of ways, it takes a village to get to the start line and to be able to perform. Even for a regular Joe like me, I can't imagine what it's like for these athletes that we watch on TV. But even for me, I recognize that it takes a village of people. It takes a village to support me and help me along the way. My family that supports me and puts up with me out running all the time. My friends that train with me and talk running with me. The fans at the Boston Marathon, on a horrific day, horrific's overstatement, but on a terrible day to be standing outside cheering. We're out there cheering in droves. The crowds were smaller, but there was still an incredible number of people out there. And to my doctor, Dr. Gorey, I love you, man. I don't know that I would have made it without you. I appreciate your understanding, and I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you, stretching me out and making me do exercises and all that other stuff. His assistant Shaylin, great people. I truly feel blessed and honored to have all of those people in my life and to interact with them however often I do, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little. But I feel very lucky to have all of those people in my life. They all made the dream come true. It wasn't my best marathon, but they pushed me to a performance that I'm exceptionally proud of, and one that I carry with me every day. It gives me a certain sense of purpose, and it protects me in a way that I know I can go forward and handle any adversity in my life. I couldn't do it without the support of all those people in my life. I feel so lucky to have every single one of you in my life. You all know who you are. I appreciate it a ton. Thank you so much. My journey from Hopkinton to Boston last week only lasted 4 hours, but it is a memory that I will take with me for the rest of my life. And I am eternally grateful to everyone in my life that is a part of that process. Some of you may not even know. You fans that watch this, that motivate me, you don't even know. Some of you I don't even know, and but it is a motivation that I took with me last Monday and created a memory for me that I'll never forget. So for that I say thank you very much. I appreciate it. With that being said, there's only one thing left to say. Well, actually two things. If you want to contact the show and share your thoughts about the Boston Marathon, MMA fights, the NBA playoffs, Alex finally making some predictions. Whatever you want, you can contact the show via email at positivesports10@gmail.com. positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of my brother Alex.
Don't be a leader, be a follower. Follow me on Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho.
And finally, if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter at eMontana21. And with that, there's only one thing left to say. Folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.